Hi, this is Brad from Brad Today, and if you're watching this video anywhere except for Bradtoday.com, then I suggest you go over to the website and check out the blog that this is embedded in, because it will teach you the entire process of finding your niche, figuring out if your niche is viable, and starting a lifestyle business. So today I'm going to show you how to figure out if you have a viable niche using two free tools. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go here to Google and we're going to type Mozbar Chrome, M-O-Z-B-A-R Chrome. You can see that I have it right here. I'm going to click on that. Now the first option that's going to come up is going to be the Mozbar Chrome Web Store app, and it's going to pull up this window. I'm going to go up here to where it says Add to Chrome, and I'm going to click that button. This little window is going to pop up, and I'm going to click the button that says Add Extension. Now this little window pops up and it says Mozbar has been added. Great. So now what we want to do is let's just go back to Google, and we can see that now we have this little bar up at the top of our screen, and over here it says create account or log in. I already have an account created, but let's go through it anyway. So if you click create account, it'll take you here, and like I said, I already have an account, so my email and all that's already filled in. But what you do is you just fill out this little bit of information here, agree to their terms, click I am not a robot, create my account. Now once you have that, what will happen is I'm going to go ahead and log in, close down these windows. What will happen is it'll tell us the page authority and domain authority of websites that we Google. So the next step we're going to do once we have the Mozbar installed is we're going to go over to Ubersuggest. So it's Ubersuggest.io. And in this example, I'm saying that we're examining a how-to sew niche. So we want to start a website selling products, tutorials, things like that in the how to sew niche. So I type that in here to Ubersuggest how to sew, and I click suggest. Ubersuggest is going to do its thing, and it's going to return 346 different keywords. Off the bat, we can see that we have a good number of people searching for how to sew different things. So let's look at how to sew a dress, for example. So how to sew a dress. We're going to now type that up in here. And we chose this because it's got a pretty good search volume and it looks good. So we're just going with that right now for this example. So how to sew a dress. And we're going to click suggest. Ubersuggest is again going to do its thing. And so let's say we want to teach people how to sew dresses, or we want to make a course on how to sew dresses, right? Or dress shirts, or whatever it might be. So now that we've searched how to sew a dress here, we're going to come down and we're going to look at what has been searched and what the volume is. So we can see that 6,600 people every month are searching for how to sew a dress. So what we're going to do now is we can go over to Google and type in how to sew a dress. Okay. Now at first glance everything looks pretty much the same, but as you scroll down you can see now we have this little Mozbar at the bottom of every listing. And if you don't see that for some reason, just click your Mozbar logo up in the top right again, and this little bar here should show up, and when this bar is here, these bars will be here as well. So alright, how to sew a dress. So the things that we're looking at right now are to determine if we have a viable niche or not. We're looking at what's ranking on page 1 of Google. So we can quickly see, okay, this DA stands for domain authority. Basically that's calculated by a number of things, but one very important one is how many links are pointing to this website. Anything with a domain authority of 90 is very, very hard to compete with. Not likely. So, because domain authority goes up to a 100, and to give you perspective, websites like Google itself have a 100. So they're up there. Now, if we look, we keep scrolling down, we can see, okay, domain authority of 100, domain authority 100, domain authority 43, 38. We can see that for this term, how to so address, we probably don't want to go for that right now, because all of these websites have pretty good domain authority. I would say we're looking for something under like 20 or 25 domain authority. So let's go back to Ubersuggest and look at what we have here. How to so address shirt. How to so address shirt. Now we'll scroll down, and sometimes this can happen where the Mozbar doesn't load. So if that happens, what I do is I just refresh it, and typically it will load once you refresh it. Yep, there we go. So once again, 149, 48, 65, 89, but here we go. Men's shirt complete sew along tutorial in 20 steps. Domain authority of only 14. Now they do have a page authority of 20, meaning there's a good amount of links pointing to this page, but that's okay. The domain authority is really low. So if you can create an article on how to sew a dress shirt and make it better than this article here, you stand a pretty good chance of ranking on page 1 of Google, especially after you build some links to the article and to your root domain. So if we scroll down a little bit, these guys are still ranking pretty high, but a low domain authority website ranking on page 1 of Google, that's a really good sign that you've got some positive opportunity there. So let's see here. How to sew a dress by hand. I happen to know that there is some opportunity on this term. I went ahead and looked at some of the terms ahead of time because I didn't want to have a 2-hour video. So how to sew a dress by hand. These positions right here, domain authority of 16, domain authority of 24. There's some potential there. So how to sew a dress by hand is also a term that you could potentially rank for without doing a ton of work to get there. So what we do is we can continue to just go through all these terms: how to sew a dress shirt, how to sew a dress by hand, anything with a search volume of over 150, I would say. How to sew a dress step by step, how to sew a dress without a pattern. Just go through and Google each one, right? So like how to sew a dress by hand for beginners, how to sew a baby dress, how to sew a cape dress. Let's look at that. I believe I looked at that earlier. How to sew a cape dress. I did look at that one earlier. So how to sew a cape dress. There is right here, domain authority of 19, which is pretty low, and a page authority of just 1. So your chances of ranking for a how to sew a cape dress are pretty good. So it looks like this could be a viable niche, how to sew. So anyway, that's how you install the Mozbar, which is a completely free app, quick and easy to sign up, and use that in combination with Ubersuggest right here to find out the terms that people are searching within your niche. Once you find terms that have a decent search volume, right, 6,600, 170, 260, once you find some terms with decent search volume, turn around and type those terms into Google, and Mozbar will tell you whether you stand a chance of ranking for it or not. And like I said, anything under about 25 is fair game. You can get there pretty quickly. Yeah, so that is how you find out if you have a potentially viable niche where you can start a blog and start a lifestyle business. And again, if you're watching this on YouTube or anywhere except for Bradtoday.com, I would encourage you to head on over to Bradtoday.com and go through the rest of the process of finding your niche and finding out if you have a viable niche. Thanks a lot. Bye.